Welcome to the very last episode of Split the Difference. I promise this is the last episode. Unlike the last time where I said it was the last episode where we did the Helldivers to Whatever's Way Up, somebody said that they couldn't make it, so we wanted to push it another week. Isn't that right?
Sure.
So this is the last episode of Jaguar Sharks proper content. I'm your host, Jesse. Today we have with us from Mind Brain Movies, Hope.
Hello, goth bitch in the house.
It's appropriate because we got a goth movie. A couple of them, 3 of them. Technically, technically 5 of them we're going to talk about today. We have a bunch of movies. We have Nosferatu. We're talking about Nosferatu, the original film from 1922, directed by F.W. Murnau, versus the 1979 remake Nosferatu the Vampire, directed by the great Werner Herzog, versus the just released 2024 Nosferatu remake, directed by the great Robert Eggers. And I'll also be talking about some other stuff as well.
I would like to see the baby.
You know, Werner Herzog's never actually seen Star Wars.
I know. It's totally.
It's just funny to me. He's never seen a single moment of Star Wars. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, why not? Cool.
I mean, I love his stint on we're like one episode on Parks and Rec where he sells Andy and April the haunted.
Oh, that's right.
And
he'll do anything. He'll do anything.
Like, I just want to move closer to Disneyland. And I was like, oh my god.
Oh god, I love that guy. God, he'd probably be a great guy to just hang out and just have a beer with.
Oh hell yeah.
God. So yeah, we have 3 movies today. Technically, we're talking about 5 because I also watched another film called Shadow of the Vampire, which
that's all you.
Yeah, Shadow of the Vampire is a film that I just kind of watched on a whim because it was based around the original Nosferatu. It was an independent film directed by E. Elias Merhage. I can't pronounce that name. That's from 2000. And I'll also be talking about a little bit of the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula from the 1990s as well. And I actually read a little bit of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Didn't finish it. I read enough of it. It's not really my thing, but I can understand why H.P. Lovecraft loved it. So we're going to get this out of the way. This is the very last episode of anything Jaguar Sharks related. This is the last one. Last time you're probably going to see Hope on any of these shows. It's a shame that it's ending, but it's nice to go out on a good note because originally this was going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the conversation would have been, original's great. Everything else is... yeah. Let's not even talk about the Netflix show. What the fuck was that?
That we don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you love me still, you should go to the Mind Brain Movies channel and look at all my stuff with Liz and Booney.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still editing all those episodes, those mini-sodes for Over the Garden Wall. There's a bunch of those that are going up pretty soon. So, okay, so let's get into it. Nosferatu, the original film. This is the only silent film we've ever had on this show. And
I don't know why. It's great.
The reason why, because there's not a lot of remakes of silent films. There's maybe The Great Train Robbery and The General. That's all I can think of.
What about Metropolis?
Oh, well, that's not really a remake. That's an animated film that's inspired by the original material, but it's not a full remake. The director even admitted it's not a full remake.
Fine.
It's not really a full remake. It's inspired by the content of the original, but it's not a full remake. So, but the original Nosferatu...
It wouldn't have been a clone movie.
Well, yeah, it's true. It wouldn't have been a clone. So, but yeah, the original Nosferatu. I saw this back in college, and I was kind of like, I didn't really quite get it at the time. I hadn't actually seen this since college. So this has been the first time in over 20 years watching this. Yeah. And I watched it, I was like, damn, this is really good. This is really, really good.
So, this is gonna date my work career. I used to work at Best Buy when they were still relevant, and I used to work there when they still had a DVD section.
Ancient times, long since past.
When Tuesdays were DVD release dates.
DVD Tuesday is what it was called.
Yeah. And um when I worked there, they had different like these box set collections, and
Mhm.
one of them was like 50 of the early horrors. And it was I'm gonna even date myself more because the DVDs were double-sided
Oh
DVDs.
god, back when they did those.
Yeah, they were double-sided DVDs. So it was like a 12-disc set with 50 movies of like old horror, and it dated from like the earliest of early. And one of them was Nosferatu on
Mhm.
on there, and that was when I first watched it, was when with that movie collection, because like, okay, there's some classics on here. There was some hysterical, I mean, there's things like Attack of the Giant Leeches on there as well. Fantastic stuff. But
Not
no,
everything's a classic, it's okay.
no. I mean, it had like Night of the Living Dead, it had Nosferatu, it had The
Yeah.
Mummy, it had Dracula, it had like the classics as well.
Yeah.
And that's like the first time I watched it because I like binged through all 50 movies after I got it, because like that was also when I got good discounts, so I only got it for like $5 or some shit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I was
You
like,
get
hell
a ton
yeah.
of shit for free, for almost free.
Exactly. Yeah, like 50, it was like 5 cents a movie basically, or some shit like that.
It's a
Like,
good deal.
yeah. So and that's when I first saw it, and I thought it was fantastic. But again, that was like around like youth, like college era, but I was like super into horror still. I was super into movies. So I was like, this is fantastic.
Mm.
Uh, so a lot of people though, they first I was talking to some people at work actually, and a lot of people, their first interaction with Nosferatu, which Robert Eggers thanks for
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, and it's just like the hash slinging slasher episode. And like I
Nosferatu.
yeah, like, I remember that episode, but like I still knew of the movie beforehand. I just never had the means to get the movie until
Mhm.
like I was older, but I was like, I knew of Nosferatu. It was like still a
Yep.
classic. But the fact that like that's the only knowledge like whatsoever people had of it was like
Yeah.
I had to sit back and be like, wait, what? Seriously?
Yeah.
But
I
that
mean,
makes sense.
there's also What We Do in the Shadows, the vampire that's in the basement. What's his name?
Peter.
Peter. Yes.
Peter.
He is just the Orlok version of
Mhm.
the vampire. That's what it
I
is.
love that movie so much. I love that movie. I love the
Yeah.
show, I love the movie, I love
Yeah.
so
Show's
good.
ending soon as well. Or did it
I
come to an
know.
end? Is it over yet?
I think they're on their last season,
Okay.
if I
I
believe.
couldn't quite remember. Yeah. I kind of dropped off a little bit. Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah, the Nosferatu, it's kind of become a staple of popular culture thanks to SpongeBob. With the weirdest place to find inspiration. So, yeah. It's Eggers acknowledges the inspiration as well, and
Yeah.
the original film is what rewatching it, I didn't quite catch all the great uh filmmaking techniques that they were using in that film, and I marked a lot of
Oh,
them down.
yeah, like, the transitional film, the
Oh, the
transitions.
negative, yeah, flipping the negative
Yeah.
where he travels to the castle. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
I said I have here every trick is used: double exposure, reverse negative, iris effect, day for night, jump cuts to illustrated telekinetic powers. It's like the jump cutting to his
Mhm.
coffins going onto the top of the carriage, like simple tricks that anybody can do. Anybody can do this now on like your like editing software that I have on my laptop right now. I can do all this stuff.
But it
There's
was like
nothing.
it
Yeah,
was hand manually done though back then
yeah,
with actual film and negatives and everything, so it's even more like, wow.
yeah, yeah. It's God, man. The original is so good, and the way in which Orlok moves around is just so creepy. It just kind of floats. Like when he just floats in through the doorway,
Yeah.
it's just so weird looking and so creepy because I saw this as a comparison film in college with the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Oh, that's another good one
It's a
though.
good one, and it's considered German expressionism and surrealist. But the reason it's surrealist is because the backgrounds are so weird looking. But it doesn't use the same exact filming techniques. It's kind of just, it's just weird backgrounds and people.
Mhm.
It's like a play. This feels like they're using strange filmmaking techniques to get a surrealist vibe throughout the movie, like the shadows moving across the walls. They don't have that in Caligari. It's just odd backgrounds. That could be a stage play.
Well,
I think it has
Caligari
become
is
one.
more of a psychological film to begin with.
Well, yeah, because
So,
it's all in the main character's head.
mhm.
It's easy because the doctor is actually the crazy person. Yeah. So, it's the original. It's we should acknowledge as well. This was hit with a huge copyright strike by
Bram
the
Stoker's family.
yeah, because this is just a remake of Dracula, and they just said, "Oh, we're gonna change the names, and it'll be totally fine." Changing the names does not get you around copyright, dude. That does not get you around copyright. I know F.W. Murnau thought that it would work. It doesn't work. It actually bankrupted this company that was making this film. They made this company for this one movie just so they could get around copyright. And then when the film got released and it was out there in the world, they just shut the company down so they didn't have to pay his wife. That's so fucking sleazy. It's just so sleazy. But at one point the print was going to be destroyed because they said,
Mhm.
this technically it's illegal. You can't do
Yep.
this. And
Yep.
thankfully, Prince survived. And we have the other two films as well to remember it by. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, is this technically the first fan film?
I guess it could be.
Yeah, this is like technically the first fan film. It's like, yes,
Uh,
I love Dracula. I'm going to make
well,
my own version of it. It's
wait. Yeah, because Frankenstein didn't come out till later.
oh, it was way later, way
Yeah,
later. Yeah.
because that's what most people think would be like the first fan film,
Mm,
but like, yeah, this would be, I
yeah.
guess this would be it.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about. So, yeah, but in terms of these three movies, like, do you think this one? I mean, this tracks in at only around like 85 minutes. It's barely
Yeah.
anything.
Well,
It's short.
think of what they had to do to get that much film back then.
Oh yeah, like
This is over 100 years ago now.
yeah, over 100 years ago. That's how old this is. Do
Over
you
a
feel
hundred.
old? This movie does.
Rick Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Uh, yeah, it's interesting to see how this story has progressed to where it is now compared to the other two films because these are all generally the same story.
Yeah,
Generally, they're the same.
yeah.
There's changes here and there. I think the Eggers version is probably the most drastically changed.
I would also say like it's more of, instead of a story change, it's more of a stylization change.
Yeah,
Obviously silent film, black and white. Then we go to, shockingly, in the Herzog film, very light colored. Like it's the most
it's very
brightly
bright,
lit. It's the
very
most
overlit.
I was like, it's the most brightly lit horror movie next to Midsummer.
Yeah, Eggers
Like,
expressed a lot of discontent with that, and he said that yeah, he loves the movie, but goddamn, front light it looks awful, and I agree. It is not a well lit movie. I do not like the lighting in the Herzog film at all.
and then we have a modern A24, you know.
Is it
So
A24? Is it A24?
I'm counting it as A24 because that's where Robert Eggers started.
Main Voice Pictures, Studio 8, Birch Hill Road Entertainment. Focus Features. It's not A24. No.
I'm still counting it as,
Yeah.
because that's where he started.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right now it is. Oh, it has broken even. It has made back its production budget, 63.6 million on a $50 million budget. More than likely, it will probably not make profit though. So, which sucks.
I saw this Christmas Day.
I saw it a couple days after Christmas. So, yeah, but we're not there yet. We're not quite there yet. The original film. So there was one other note that I wanted to make with regards to this original. There's not a lot to really say about the original film. It's available for free. I'll say that it's on
Yeah.
you. It's on every streaming service because it's cheap. It's everywhere. You were about to say something?
Yeah. Dude, I forget the name, but the boss, his boss in the Hutter's boss in the original. What's his name in that?
Error knock. Knock.
Ernok. I think that actually that name stays throughout. Um
Let me check
Maybe,
that
I don't
right
know.
now. Yes,
Anyways,
it does. Aronach
yes,
does stay.
Enoch.
It does stay.
Okay, because I know the main characters' names change throughout each film, but um, Enoch. Can I just say I know Nosferatu Count Orlok is supposed to be the main scary guy, their
Yeah.
main villain. Enoch was creepier than Nosferatu in this film.
Yeah, especially if you watch the colorized version of this. There was a
Yeah.
colorized version on Amazon. It is horrifying.
He is so creepy.
Hmm.
I was like I was more scared of Enoch than than of Orlok, and I was like, or well, maybe because like I just love Orlok so much. Like he's just my little Nosferatu, But like
What is it with women being like creepily sexually obsessed with like Orlok as the vampire? Like
I'm not
every
sexually obsessed with him. I just think he's my little baby. He's just
okay,
my little. I just want to hold him and pet him and call
because there's
him
so many
George.
women that are just kind of like they look at the vampire that's in the 2024 film and they're just like wood, and it's like really, really,
Not me. No,
really.
no, not
The
me.
rotting corpse, flaccid dick. No, I'm good.
We'll get to
Ugh.
that later.
Oh
Uh,
God,
but
Jesus.
but no, like I know Sriracha. He's just my little buddy.
Okay.
He's just my little buddy. But
I think SpongeBob had an effect.
mm, I don't know. Or I think the weirdest things are cute though. Like I think a warg from Lord of the Rings is adorable. Um,
Yeah, they're big hyenas. It's fine.
it's a purpose. Uh, no, but like Aronok is the creepiest dude ever.
Yeah.
Like the eyebrows and the hair and the eyes, just like he's like, oh,
I realized what
like
he looked like the other day. If you shaved Gimli's beard in Lord of the Rings, that's what he looks like.
do not insult Gimli, sir.
No,
Do
I'm just saying,
not
if you
insult
shaved
Gimli.
Gimli's beard off in Lord of the Rings, he looks like because there's a deleted scene in the extended edition where he takes his helmet off. He has a bad receding hairline. He looks like Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
Okay, I'll finish it myself. My only negative of the original film is the ending is a little bit on the weak side because they don't really build up the relationship between Orlok and oh god, what's his wife's name? Remind me.
Wife.
Uh, Ellen. Okay, so some of the names do carry over from film to film. Okay, so Ellen, the kind of like telepathic relationship doesn't carry over as strongly in the 1920s film. So when he is sucking the blood out of her, and she willingly sacrifices herself, he just forgets the sun is coming up. You've been doing this for how long?
I blame this on it being 1920s.
They only had enough time for a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
That's just it's just an excuse. Yeah. And also, as I have read Dracula, or I read about half of it. I made it halfway through. I did skim through the rest of it. Sunlight does not actually kill Dracula. This is the thing that has been changed for vampire films in recent years. Sunlight does not kill him, it weakens him.
Mhm.
It weakens him. He can't transform. He can't use his powers. He's weak. He's kind of like a normal person. It does like kind of like it hurts, but it
Mhm.
doesn't kill him. He can walk around normally. But honestly, the most accurate interpretation of Dracula is the 1992 Francis Ford Coppola film. That is the most accurate interpretation, which also borrows heavily from accurate historical lore of Transylvania, using Vlad the Impaler as the main inspiration for who Dracula was. So,
Mhm.
and I quite like that film, despite the fact that Keanu Reeves is terrible in it. He has willingly admitted that he was in the movie. He was like coming off of like 3 or 4 other films. So he was dead. He looks like he's about to pass out in every scene. He looks
Aw,
so exhausted.
poor thing.
And Coppola even admitted he only put him in the movie because it was a means of getting a younger audience to see the film. Which, for a business standpoint, that's fine. I
Yeah.
get it. But yeah, that is still
Everyone
the most,
does it.
yeah, that is still the most accurate interpretation of Dracula. So, like when he's crawling around on the walls outside his castle, that scene is directly in the original story where when the three wives pop out and they eat a baby, that's in the original book.
Mm.
It's there. It's like, wow, that's fucked up. That's creepy. So yeah. But you know, I would I recommend Dracula as a book? Yeah, if you like Lovecraft, sure, but you have to kind of like learn to read it. And I've just had a very busy schedule as of late, so I made it halfway through. I'm like, yeah, I'll finish it at some point.
Well, that was like me. I'm obsessed with The Clockwork Orange, but like it took me a while of like rereading and rereading it through because of the language it uses and
Yeah,
everything. So
yeah, it can be tough. So, and one other side tangent I wanted to make with regards to the original film is there's a film called Shadow of the Vampire that I wanted to bring up. I watched this. You did not watch
I did
this.
not.
Okay, so
I only had time for the three Nosferatu.
I know, I understand. I had a bunch of time right after Christmas. So this is a historically based film in the loosest possible terms, based around the production of the original Nosferatu. John Malkovich plays F.W. Murnau, and Willem Dafoe plays Orlok, Max Schreck, the actor. The implication in the film is that there is no such person as Max Schreck. That F.W. Murnau, when he was going around scouting locations, found an actual vampire. And he is actual, and the way in which he got him to star in his movie was he says, you can have the lead actress as soon as we finish.
Back when women were things.
Back when women were things. Like they literally have a scene where she's not willing to do the scene at the very end of the movie, so they dope her up with what was the drug? Oh god, what was the drug?
Ether.
It's not ether, it's oh god damn it. Laudanum. They shoot her up with laudanum. A lot of it. So she's just kind of like laying there. And yeah, and then Orlok, he kills the whole crew, and F.W. Murnau is still filming. And right at the very end, he dies, and F.W. Murnau kind of goes, "I think we got it." Cut to credits.
That's great.
It's fun. I liked it. I mean, Willem Dafoe is fantastic in the movie.
When isn't he fantastic?
I'm sure there's one or two things. Oh, Speed 2. Speed 2. He's not good in Speed. Speed 2 is terrible. That's the bad one. But in terms of technical elements of the movie, there's a lot of like weird camera positioning. It looks very cheap. The movie is very cheap looking. I'm sure people were just paid scale for the film. So it's an okay film. I would recommend it if you're a fan of the original film, but it definitely has flaws.
Oh yeah, it seems like a campy movie to begin with. So
there's a bunch of shots that are out of focus. A bunch of shots. It's like, that's a problem. Whoever was the focus puller on that film, it probably deserves to be fired. So, but overall, I'd recommend it. It's fun. It's a cute movie. I quite like it, and it's only 90 minutes. It's the same length as the original Nosferatu. It's the exact same length, which is appropriate. Why would you make an adaptation of it longer than the actual original film? So,
until today.
So yeah, the original Nosferatu and its companion film Shadow of the Vampire, high recommendation on those. Let's go to the Herzog film. So, I'm going to say this right out. The lighting sucks. I don't know why it looks like this. I wish somebody could give me an explanation.
Too bright. It is too bright. Even like the shadow when it's supposed to be in darkness is still bright.
I think if you put this into a black and white color grading, it would probably look great.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but as a color film in 1979, oh boy, I warned you when we were doing this. I was like, be warned. This one doesn't look good.
Yeah, I would. It was very very off-putting at first because I'm like, these actors are great. It's a great storyline, but what the hell? And like the shots itself, the actual like location shots and everything were beautiful.
Yeah.
but it was so bright. I felt like I had to
Yeah.
wear sunglasses while watching this film.
Even at nighttime where there's like
Yes,
no light
that's what I'm
anywhere.
saying. Like
And I'm like,
even the parts where it's like, "Oh, I'm shrouded in darkness." I'm like, "What darkness?" What
yeah, like even
darkness?
at nighttime where there's no light being emitted anywhere, there's unmotivated light sources hitting these actors. I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? I mean, I get it. It's a movie. You want to look at it. I understand that. I mean, I hate the fact that most movies these days are just like dark and dark and dark and dim and dim and dim. But it's just like, this is too much. This
Oh,
is
no, yeah,
too
it was so
much.
bad. It was so bad.
Yeah. But the standout element of this one is that one, the ending is different. The ending has
Mhm.
changed. And two, this is delving into the fact that he's a tragic character.
Yes.
Like he doesn't want to be a vampire. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to be alone. He's lonely, he's depressed, he's miserable, and he hates doing this. Like that scene where he's pouring his heart out to it's not Harker. It's no, it is. Oh, it is Harker. Yeah, it is Harker. It's Harker. Yeah, it's Lucy. It's changed. It's Jonathan Harker in this
Yes.
one, and Lucy Harker in this one as well. By the way, Isabella Johnny, Jesus Christ, she's gorgeous. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah, no, she was gorgeous.
yeah. If you
She
ever
was
seen the
made for this
film,
role.
yeah, if you ever see the film Possession that she's in, that's a hell of a role. There's a scene in a subway that I still cannot get out of my brain. It's a hell of a scene. Um, But there's a moment when Orlok is like pouring his heart out. He's like he's been alone for so long. He's not letting on that he is a vampire, but he's just like God, he's so tired of being alone. It and a lot of that kind of translates into the 2024 film. Um, and it it makes you sympathize with him a lot more than Orlok in the original film because the original is kind of like just a straight monster movie. It is a monster film. That's
It
what it
is.
is.
And you
So
also have to think they had the placards, to express all um what was it? Like all lines and dialogue. So it's not
yeah,
like they could have like a monologue or a scene or like an
yeah,
actual conversation. So that affects it as well from the original, because everything was on the placards.
yeah,
Um so this is the first time you can actually like have them talk, have them express things other than,
yeah.
you know. So that definitely helped a lot in that instance.
Yeah. It feels like they took the original as inspiration and said, "Okay, how can we extrapolate a lot of content from this?" Because
Mhm.
Herzog's films, I mean, not all of them are great. There's some I love more than others. His documentaries are probably his best work, but he always does care about the human connection, the human emotion, and that element of the story, no matter what
Would
film it
like to see
is.
the baby.
I'd like to see the baby. But whatever film it is, he always tries to get to that human connection. And this one does its damnedest to make you sympathize more with the vampire than with
Mhm.
anybody else. Like the Harker family, like that pair, like I didn't really feel much when Lucy was, getting the blood drained out of her. I didn't feel more for her. I felt more for him,
Mhm.
honestly.
It's
So,
kind of like a compulsion, like an OCD-esque thing
yeah.
for Orlok, because he's like, I literally have to do this to live. Like, I don't want to do this.
Or like a drug addict, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It feels like it literally is a curse. He's literally cursed and he cannot get away from it. He cannot escape it. And then the end of the movie, what happens? Oh,
Why don't you tell us, dear?
the curse goes on. Harker turns into the next vampire and goes off to parts unknown. It was creepy when the plague rats are all over town and there's the family sitting around. He's like, this is our last meal. Join us. This is fucked up.
Although I will say that scene in this film, speaking of like the plague and around town, I loved the impactfulness when Lucy goes into town. She's like, "Oh, where is he? Where is he?" And you see like hundreds of caskets in the town, just
Mhm.
like all these people. Like it is showing like I feel like this is the only time it shows that like it is a plague and
Yeah.
not just like one or two people. It's like, holy crap, you see like the devastation he actually brought,
Yeah.
you know. And she's like, "Oh, I know. I need to see the town council." He's like, "What town council? They're all dead."
Everybody's
Like,
dead.
I was
Yeah.
like, do you not see these hundreds of caskets we're carrying? Like, we don't even have
Hmm.
enough people to carry the caskets."
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I think that was the most standout scene for me, honestly, was showing the devastation of, like, what actually did happen.
yeah. And when you relate that back to Orlok, feeling sympathy or feeling guilt for the fact that he is a vampire, it's like, wow, it's like he really doesn't want to do this to all these people. He really does not want to bring this with him, but it follows him wherever he goes.
Mhm.
It's just a curse. It's just a straight up curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the ending of the film, it's Harker going off becoming the next vampire to take the curse elsewhere. It's like that's the one big change is that the end of the story is like the vampire is defeated and it's a happy ending.
Continues, yeah.
Yeah, this one, nope, it's not a happy ending. Like, and I would agree that this is probably my favorite version of that. In that it's not really you can't really
Really, Mr.
this
Pessimist?
this many people dead at because of this one individual. It's like
Mhm.
how do you slap like a happy ending on top of that? You know?
By getting to pet and play with little miceys?
Willem Dafoe does that in the next one.
I know.
Oh Jesus, 2,000 rats. My God.
Little
Christ.
babies.
Yeah. I will say the best scene for me in the movie, where it's not Orlok. I keep the fact that they changed his name back to Dracula in this one is so weird. These are confusing me. These are three separate movies. Anyways, Dracula entering Lucy's room for the first time is the best shot. Where
Yeah.
it's the sneaks up behind her and because he's a vampire, he's not reflected in the mirror. And
Mhm.
it's so creepy. So creepy. Yeah. They they have a lot of fun with that in Shadow of the Vampire as well when the actress that plays Ellen looks into the mirror next to the bed and
Yeah.
doesn't see Orlok. And she's like, he's an actual vampire. And Orlok's like, what are you talking about?
That's great.
Yeah. There's great comedy bits that are in that Shadow of the Vampire film. Yeah. But in terms of a remake, this feels like probably the most adept way at the time they could have remade it. Because
Yes.
it's the only thing you could really do is delve into character. So yeah. So going on to the next one. We usually don't do this. We don't usually talk about films that are still in theaters, but hey, it's last episode. Fuck it, we're doing it. Uh
Plus, it's Robert Eggers. Come
it's
on.
Robert Eggers, and we're not going to not talk about this. We originally were going to talk about this months ago when this was originally supposed to come out it was the beginning of 2024. This was pushed back quite a bit.
Yeah. I think it was because. Okay. So what it was is that the Terrifier movie was actually supposed to come out on Christmas,
Hmm.
and this was supposed to come out like in October, but they were like they switched dates.
Why? Wouldn't it make more sense for Terrifier to come out at Christmas because it's a Christmas movie?
Yeah, but they were afraid that because it being of the Terrifier series, it wouldn't like relate as well. So they
But it's a
put it
Christmas horror film.
right. But that's why Terrifier came out in like Halloween time because
Okay.
of the known series and everything. It was just like it's just how it panned out.
Okay.
And then also like it well, technically the
Well, they're going for
Nosferatu.
Oscars as well. They're going for Oscars.
Exactly. It's all, and then Nosferatu, they do mention it's Christmas coming, so
Yeah. So I mean, it's fine. I mean, the movie's made back its production budget. I don't think it's actually going to make profit. It'll probably make maybe a little bit. It's still in theaters at the moment. It's doing fine. I think it'll probably just barely break even with home media sales. They've even said there's going to be an extended edition, which is Jesus Christ. If there's one complaint, it's that it's too fucking long. Um, the 2024 film, I had a great time. I
Mhm.
loved it, but I would say with it being a passion project of Eggers, I think the issue is that he didn't really have enough of an objective eye to say, hey, maybe we don't need that scene. Maybe we don't need
Yeah,
this
yeah.
moment. Because I think you and I both agreed the stuff on the boat, you could excise that entirely and nothing changes in the movie because none of those characters are ever seen again.
Mhm. Like, keep a little bit on the boat, but there was a lot on the boat.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Um,
If you want to see that, just watch the film The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which we talked about last year at the best of 2023. Like, that entire movie is just that chapter of Dracula.
right.
You can just watch that. If you want to see the boat stuff, there it is. There's the boat
Mhm.
stuff. You don't need anything else. So,
Although I will say I did love the film, the how I just love the one scene where his hand just outstanding over
over
the
the city.
city,
That's so cool.
like, that was awesome. Like, certain shots like that, the fact that,
You can never fault Eggers for his visuals.
no, it's like I said, and then, like, the darks were dark, and, like, it's like the whole first where the carriage comes up and he's, like, being drawn into the darkness, like, oh,
Where he
just
like floats into the carriage in the end of it. I was like, oh, that's so
yes.
cool.
Like, his visual storytelling is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Um,
It's his pacing that
it's
needs a little bit of work.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
There's a lot
Eggers
of
has al
moments. Yeah.
Eggers has always had a smidge issue with pacing, though.
Yeah. He likes to sit in the scene, which
Mhm.
is great, but there are moments in this movie where I was kind of like, all right, just fucking get on with it. Come on, man. I could trim a good 15 minutes out of this movie.
Like, not gonna lie, I think they could have trimmed some of, like, when they were at the friend's house in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, when Aaron Taylor Johnson is there and Emma Corrin was there.
I feel like because of his name and everything, because Aaron Taylor Johnson is just, like, a big name right now, so I
He's in
feel like he
everything right now.
yeah, so they were just giving him a little bit more, like, cushion, um, whereas
He
the
had
other
to make
film
up
was
for the failure of Craven the Hunter.
Ugh, we're not gonna talk
Rest
about
in
that.
peace, Sony
We're not gonna talk
Spider-Verse.
about that. Uh, but, just scenes like that, like, although I when he just chucks the kid, it was so good.
Oh,
I
god
was
damn it.
I was like, "Fuck them kids."
Oh,
Was
god damn it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I felt kind of bad for Aaron Taylor Johnson at the end of this movie because he's like, he gets the shaft the most out of anybody in the movie.
Mhm.
Like, they come in and they wreck his house, they disrupt his sleep. His wife and two kids die, his unborn child dies.
His shipyard's
He loses his
destroyed, like
business, like a plague breaks out in the city and then he gets the plague. It's like, and then he just says, fuck it. He goes into the crypt and starts fucking his dead wife, and then he dies of the plague mid orgasm. Like, what the fuck, bro? And yeah, that is something that is in the movie that's cut because of content reasons. If you actually look when he's in that crypt with his
oh, no,
dead wife's body,
he's yeah.
her legs are wrapped around him. He was fucking the corpse. I feel like Ari Aster probably should have directed this and done just a fine job too.
I was gonna say, what about Saltburn?
Oh god, putting your dick in the dirt. Jesus Christ. God. Speaking of vampire dong, that was something that kind of shocked me in the movie. This movie
Nichol
really does not hold anything back. It's kind of like, yeah,
Nicholas Holt's gift.
yeah. Nicholas Holt's rap gift was the prosthetic dong that had to be worn by Bill Skarsgård in this movie.
Did you read the story behind it?
Mm-mm.
Like, how he had to get it how he had to get it reframed and everything?
No.
Oh my god, so, like, everyone's seen the photo that's been circulating around.
Oh yeah, he posted though. Yeah.
But I saw like this interview that he did, and he's like, so what people don't know is that when I got it on set, and then he shipped it to me, and the frame got like messed up, so I had to go and get it re. He's like, I had to go and get it reframed, and he and he took it to like the frame shop, and the guy apparently just like didn't really look at what it was, but then he's like, yeah, when I went to pick it back up, he's like, kind of collectibles you into? And he's like, yeah, it's a collectible of some kind. And it was just like the most awkward like conversation he had with the frame keeper.
Oh God.
Just getting this fucking dong reframe.
The answer you should have is, look, I could explain, but it's just going to make it weirder.
Right.
Just go with it. Yeah, man. Visually, this movie's amazing. The score is great. Sound wise, it's great. Like when it's quiet, it is like pin drop quiet in this movie. Yeah, it. if there's anything I would say is kind of a problem, it's that they do make Ellen the main character of the story of this one. It is her story and how she's kind of has this sort of telepathic connection to Orlok,
Since
which
like since she was a child,
yeah,
and
never really said how that starts. Just kind of happens. It's like, it's
no,
fine.
they did. She basically summoned like, hey, it's the Lilo and Stitch thing. I want a friend. And then Stitch comes into her life.
Oh, Jesus
It's
Christ.
literally how it is. Ellen's like, I want a friend. And then she's like, oh, fuck, wrong friend.
Yeah, wrong friend. Wrong friend. And it's implied he may have been telepathically molesting her or raping her. It's never made clear. But all we know is that Orlok, this is the worst, most horrible version of this
He's
character.
creepy. I was
This
like, if
is, yeah.
anybody's freaked out by Nosferatu OG, they're gonna really freak out about this guy.
Yeah, the other one's just like, oh, he has kind of a weird shaping head. No, this guy is a rotting corpse. Like he is a parasite that leeches off of anything around him. Yeah,
Dude
so,
is yeah.
A lot of people were kind of weirded out by the mustache, and I'm like, why? It's like that he looks like Vlad the Impaler. He looks like it's implied he may be Vlad the Impaler. So it's never made completely clear, but you can infer that because that's just what Transylvanian lords looked like. That's just what they had. They had those big mustaches. So, but yeah, if there's any negative I could say is that they do harp on that relationship a little too much. Like there's so many scenes of Ellen being like, come to me. It's like, oh God, it's like the 6th time in this movie you can cut one of these. Like we said, pacing is a problem and the length of the film is a problem. It's only 2 hours, 10 minutes. But because the pacing is a problem, you feel that length. Like I was with somebody when I saw this. It was my friend Caitlin. She was looking at her phone at certain points. Like it really is that bad. So it's
when it's great, it's 100%. But like
there's moments where it's like, God damn, dude, it's just dragging. It's just dragging so much. And there's an extended cut on the way. Like, what else is there?
Willem Dafoe's penis?
I mean, it's the size of a baby's arm holding an apple, sure, but at the same time, it's like, it's like the length of this movie really drags. So
like Willem Dafoe's penis.
Exactly, it really does drag across the floor. You can just swing it at people like in basketball. Speaking of Willem Dafoe, he plays a great crazy person. I just rewatched The Lighthouse the other night, and he's really good at playing a crazy person. So.
Dude, that's his bread and butter.
I have a feeling he's going to be playing the Goblin King in the remake of Labyrinth that's on the way. Apparently, Eggers has recently been tapped to do a new Labyrinth film.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, I was never like a huge fan of Labyrinth. I knew of it. I've seen it. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's not really my thing. But
like I said, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I don't feel like that needs of all movies needs a remake, is what I'm saying.
No, but it's Eggers. I'll give him a break. It's like, it's probably one of those one for them, one for me situations where it's like, okay, if you do this remake of Labyrinth for us, we'll give you X number of dollars to go do whatever you want. That's probably what it is. One for them,
Yeah.
one for me. He's at that point where his last film didn't make profit, The Northman. That was a
Yeah.
huge bomb.
That
This
that was such a good movie though,
it's
like,
so fucking metal. It's
oh, it
so
was
great.
so good. Freaking,
Secret Secret Conan
that
the Barbarian movie. It's awesome.
that is I saw, like, IMAX, like, surround, like, the whole shebang, like, I did the whole 9 for that
Mhm.
movie. It was so good.
Saw it twice in theaters. It was great every time.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But yeah, his last movie didn't make profit. This film, it's made back its production budget, but with marketing and distribution costs, it's probably going to either come in as a financial bomb or it's going to barely break even. Barely.
I would say it's gonna break even because I still know people who are, like, flooding to see it still.
Going to see it multiple
So,
times. I do
yeah.
intend to see it again on my own.
Not
So,
just multiple times, but, like, there's still people who are seeing it for the first time around, like, a coworker of mine, she's seeing it tonight, you know?
yeah. Some people don't go to watch movies on Christmas, and it's like they're with their families, and that makes sense. That's fine. Holidays are
Mhm.
now over. We're into the new year. So it's,
It's like the first weekend of the new year, so everyone's like, "Okay, date night, let's go see Nosferatu." So, I have
yeah,
a feeling you're gonna see a spike between this and next weekend of,
yeah.
theater.
Because
So,
there's not too much else coming out. I mean, January is considered a dumping month for a lot of crap. Occasionally, there's something good that comes out. There's a few films that will pop up. Like I think I saw Ex Machina years ago. That was a January release, but very rarely does January ever get anything good. So I was
yeah, so
annoyed when Bong Joon Ho's Mickey 17 got pushed to later this year. I was like, damn it!
dude, I've been waiting for that for so long.
That movie has been on the shelf for like 2 years.
I know. I've been waiting
He
for so
did that
long.
before he did the Batman.
I know.
It's
I know.
ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Jesus Christ. But
Been
whatever.
waiting.
Yeah.
That's not what we're
What
talking about.
now we're talking about. Anyways, yeah. So when it comes to this remake, I am a little bit annoyed with movies. Even yes, I say this movie is dark and dim. There were some parts where I was like, "What the fuck am I looking at?" Like there was parts where I was like, "Okay, just brighten it up just a little bit,
The
just a
opposite
hair."
of Werner Herzog.
The opposite of Werner Herzog. Wait, don't go too bright, don't go too dim, just the right amount. This one is a little too much in the reverse direction. It could be a little brighter, in my opinion. So
Just certain scenes, yeah.
or maybe it was the theater I was seeing it in. I mean, it all depends on what theater you're seeing it in. It depends on how it's formatted for the screen. It could be different
I
if I
was
go to
gonna
a
say,
different theater.
I don't know what it is. Is it just me or like do theaters not completely go dark anymore?
No, they don't. I'm very annoyed by that. That's why, unless it's like Alamo Draft House or something like that, or some specialty theater, very rarely does it go completely dark.
Like I don't understand the purpose of that anymore.
Well, it's also annoying when you have like, I usually sit at the top row because I just want to see like the whole screen. I hate sitting down at the bottom. You're always annoyed by like seeing the exit signs down at the front, which I get it for safety reasons. I get it, but then you also see like the lights of the hallway that lead out.
Mhm.
It's like turn that shit off.
Yeah.
If it's 15 minutes in the movie, lock the door. Okay, that's it. Just lock the door, turn off the lights. Just
I
theater
would just be
experiences are miserable.
I would just be happy with them shutting the top lights off. Like, okay, I get the hallway, like if you have to pee, whatever, you can't lock the doors or like
Yeah.
I get that, but like at least turn the top lights off. Like
Yeah.
why are we having overhead lighting still? Like the stairwells have the tiny little LEDs. That should be more than enough if you're going to see a movie in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very frustrating going to the movies these days. I mean, granted, I said last year I only saw 5 movies in theaters. Technically, yeah, 5 movies in theaters. Yeah. The only other new movie I saw that was not in theaters was Civil War and I hated it. So so
Yeah, like my theater experience, like again, we saw it on Christmas Day, and like there was this one chick and her friend sitting next to me, and there were some parts they were laughing, and I'm like, why are you laughing? This is not a laughing scene. This is not a laughing moment.
the
Like I was
fuck?
so yeah, and then like there was this one kid who kept coming. Like, I swear, I counted like 7 times they got up, like went back and forth, whether it was like bathroom or snacks or drink, whatever. Like, I was like, how many times do you get up during a fucking movie? Like, you're missed half the movie at this point. Like,
If you're not into the movie, just leave.
yeah,
Just leave. Go get your money back. I think they do offer refunds within the first half hour of a film.
for the
If you're
first half
not
hour,
into it,
yeah.
yeah. If you're not into it, they will give you a refund. But if you're going to see a 2-hour film, empty your bladder, get your snacks, get your drinks, and sit and shut up. Yeah,
Hmm.
why would you go to the theater to fuck around on your phone or to
I was gonna say
chatter
it's
with your friends?
expensive. It's
Yeah,
expensive.
it was like it's expensive to go to the movies. Like if you add up, like I went to the theater 5 times last year for a film. It's about like $15 for a ticket.
Right.
15 times 5, what is that? That's $75. And then you add in refreshments on top of that. It's like, why would you spend that kind of money to go to a movie where you're not going to watch it? Just
Right.
stay home and watch something else.
That, or it'll come out on streaming in like a month or something. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, or I mean, like Nosferatu, this remake, I'm sure it'll be out on streaming within about another month or so, and the Blu-ray will be out pretty quick as well, which I'm gonna get. So, because physical media at this point is very important, folks. Blu-rays are going away. Just saw
mhm.
that news. Great. Anyways, so you want to read some letterbox reviews of this movie?
Let's do it.
So this some of
Wait,
these are
did
just
Oren
like
Soffer leave one?
I don't think he did. I'll have to check that, but some of these are just wonderful. Just the best. All right, so here's some remakes of this, some reviews of the 2024 film Nosferatu 2024. 4.5 stars. Nightgown buttons to the top. uh, what one pussy does to an immortal being.
Is that what we call pussy whipped?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Definition of pussy whipped.
Yep. 3.5 stars. Nosferatu skips leg day. Nosferatu 4 stars and a heart. Hawksferatu.
Oh my god.
Here's what. This doesn't even have a rating. It's just a heart. It says, "Where's SpongeBob?" Oh, this one's kind of mean, but I'm gonna say it. 4 stars. Never show an ugly man attention. They'll never leave you alone. It's like, oh, that's mean. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Mhm.
Here's one. It doesn't even have a rating. It's just a review. So it's okay to sing along to Wicked, but if I start biting people during Nosferatu, I'm in the wrong. Interesting.
These are gold.
These are gold. 4 stars. I want him. Please, I want him. Okay, speaking of pussy whips. All right. And last one, 5 stars. Horniest vampire movie since Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait, no, here's another one. Little Women for My Chemical Romance fans. That's the best one, I think.
Oh, that's great.
That's the best one.
That's fantastic.
Speaking of which, I want to talk about Lily Rose Depp, who I've never really cared for as an actress. She's come a long way from Yoga Hosers. How did she do that with her face in that scene?
The
Yeah, that was fucked. That creeped me out more than anything else in the movie because, ugh. And then, right afterwards, she gets plowed by Nicholas Holt, and she's describing how Orlok was giving it to her every night telepathically.
and
And
then
that means he's into some kinky shit because the only way he could really get inside her at that moment is if he was at least 3/4 mast. This is a fucked up couple. And it's a really weird shit.
I dig it.
Yep, I'm sure you do. This is a really weird pairing, and goddamn, that I should. Do you think she's gonna get nominated for an award for this? I don't think Nicholas Holt will because he's like fine in the movie. He's there, he's good. Lex Luthor's doing just fine. But I think that she is the standout actress in the
Oh
film.
no, for sure. That the only thing is that because it's technically horror, she might get shafted.
Yeah, that's what sucks. Like Mia Goth should have gotten an award for Pearl years ago, and she didn't. She got shafted, which is bullshit.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, um, in terms of the performance of Bill Skarsgård, uh, did it come off a little comical sometimes? How slowly he talks in the film. It's like I was kind of chuckling at some points where I was like, I I got about 80% of his dialogue. I was like, okay, I get what you're saying. But there were some points where I was like, all right, that's just enough, dude.
Well, if he's like hundreds of years old or whatever, you'd be a little slow too.
That's fair. That's fair.
If
I
your face is rotting off of you, you might slur a little bit too.
speaking of that, the ending of the movie where he dies because he's so pussy whipped by Lily Rose Depp at the end of the film, like that moment, did you see the interview where Edgar said that there was apparently it was way more explicit?
No, but I can believe it.
So if you look really closely, he's like bleeding from the eyes and the nose and all of his orifices.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was one moment where he was actually bleeding out of his asshole, and they said, "Yeah, it looks kind of funny." So they literally put a plug in the because it's a dummy. It was
Yeah.
a dummy that was on top of her, and there was like they would just push the blood, they
Right,
pump the blood
right.
through it. They plugged it up, literally put a plug in it because it's like, yeah, it looks funny.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a I I really like this remake. I like it a lot. I think it'll have legs after it leaves theaters. It's just that length. That length really was getting to me. I mean, I'm the one that always complains about the length of the movies, but even you agreed it's too much. Like cut the boat, cut out some of the stuff of her pining after Orlok. It really
Again, I this one at least I can see because it was his passion project. Other films
yeah.
just do it because of whatever reason. This at
He
least
got it out of his system.
like
Yeah.
you could tell like he still loved what he was doing. So I
Yeah.
give him credit for that because this wasn't just like, oh, let me just like make it long for the sake of long. He was just like, no, he you could tell because of how he shot some scenes. He's like, oh no, I need this.
Yeah.
It was like his this was his baby. So like
Yeah.
I let a little slide because of it literally is a passion project.
I'm sure if I was really baked, I'd probably be like, "Oh yeah, let me sit here with all of that movie." But there are parts where I'm like, "We don't need the boat." Here's what you do. If I could just do a quick 30-second film rescue, this will be the last film rescue ever. The way you get around that, have you see the boat leave harbor with the whole crew on it, and then you see the boat arrive wrecked, and there's nobody on it, and it's just rats. There you go. You don't need the boat. Just cut all of it. Like you don't need any of that shit.
I think my biggest grievance was because of the fact that I worked the night before and I didn't sleep and like I was still
Oh, so you
doing
were
like
tired already.
I was just tired. I was exhausted. I was like I was working all night and then I had to go home and I had to get the house ready. I was doing all the baking and all the cooking. Like I was doing
Yeah.
so by the time I got to the movies, I was like, fuck this, I want to go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that.
So I think that's partially why I'm a little bit biased of the length and like pacing because I was already like, I just want to go to bed.
No, I
I
get
was
it.
like, I wanted to see the movie so bad, but I'm like, I wanted my bed.
No, I get it. I get it. We haven't even really talked about Willem Dafoe very much. Like, is he did he come off a little too unhinged at some points in this movie, or is that just Willem Dafoe?
I just think that's Willem Dafoe. Like,
Okay.
the thing is, Willem Dafoe is at the end of his career, and
Oh yeah, he
he's
doesn't have long
doing
left. Yeah.
he's doing what he wants, how he wants it.
Yeah.
Basically, he's if he goes in, he's like, I want to fuck around. They're gonna be like, yep, go ahead, fuck around.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not to say that he's like phoning it in because he's not. He's still a fantastic actor, but he's doing roles he wants to do.
Yeah.
And he's just having fun with it. And you could tell in the interviews where he's just like, "Oh yeah, he was like, I was just there for the rats." Like literally, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm there for the rats."
Yeah.
Didn't give a shit about the rest of the film. He's just like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to play with rats all day."
Eggers has apparently offered him roles in the next 2 movies. I think Labyrinth is one of them. I'm not sure what
Mhm.
Eggers' next film is. I mean, the other 2 things he said he wants to do is he wants to do a Western and he wants to do a night film. So
Hmm.
he doesn't do anything in modern day. Eggers does not do anything in ordinary modern day. He wants to do period pieces only because he's like, I live in modern day. I just want to do other stuff.
Right.
So, which I understand. So an Eggers Western, would it be a spaghetti Western or like one of the modern Westerns where they're fucking boring? That's the question.
I not gonna lie, I think he might take a spin on it, like a Japanese type Western, like Seven Samurai. I think he would do that type of
Yeah, I can
Western.
see that. I can see him doing something like that. We'll see. It'll all depend. Yeah, he's probably a ways away from. He's just. I mean, this film just came out, so like we said, we usually don't cover these kinds of movies when they just come out because people haven't had time to process them. But because this is the last episode of Split the Difference, we kind of just said, "Fuck it, let's just do it." So, so yeah, that's the 3 Nosferatu films. That's the 3 movies. Um, I think we can all agree that these are all great movies. Like
Oh yeah,
there's not a bad one in the bunch. I mean, yeah, the Werner Herzog film, we hate the front lighting, but
but it's
the
still
story,
great. Yeah,
it's still great. The story, characters, the score, like
like I
it's
said, the actual like on scene because they were like on location films, like filming was great. It was
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. It's just that lighting
Hmm.
really is. If I had to put them in order, I would say, in terms of favorites, I would put the original at the top,
Oh yeah.
then the Eggers film, and then the Herzog film. But the
Hmm.
scaling for them is like neck and neck.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
so
it's
close.
not anything drastic. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agreed. I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
And then throw in Shadow of the Vampire because why not? Why not? It's a rainy Saturday. Throw it on. Why not?
Or just watch What We Do in the Shadows, the movie.
Oh yeah, just watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Repeater.
It's for Peter. So yeah, that's it. Last episode, all 3 good movies. We didn't have to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You're welcome. Yeah. I asked Jeremy if he wanted to do this, and he's just like, yeah, I'm never getting to the theater. Originally, he was going to be on this for Texas Chainsaw Massacre because he could watch it all at home. But when I said we were going to do Nosferatu instead, he was like, yeah, I have 2 kids. I'm not getting to a
Yeah,
theater.
that's more than understand. Especially young kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm currently re uploading a lot of his Defending Your Movies episodes. That was on another channel. I'm uploading it now to the Jaguar Sharks channel. We agreed to do that. So I'm doing that day by day. He actually lost the Freddy Got Fingered episode that I did with him. So,
Oh
but what we're going to do is we're going to re upload everything and then we're going to end that show with just doing a new version of the Freddy Got Fingered episode. So that's the way we will end that show.
no.
So that'll wrap up.
Proud.
Proud. So that's the way that we'll finally end his podcast. Um, and yeah, this is the end of this podcast. We're at the end. This is the last thing Jaguar Sharks related.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, I think this is the last time you and I will work together on anything probably for a while. So,
Yeah.
because you're doing your Mind Brain movie stuff, it's just you and Dr. Gremlin over there
And Booney.
and
Yeah.
Booney. It's I'm probably gonna be doing interviews and such for Jaguar Sharks. I'm gonna be reaching out to a couple of people, but other than that, all the other shows are wrapped up. Film Rescue, we wrapped it up with Tenet. Game Rescue has been wrapped up for a few months. This is the last episode of Split the Difference, and we just did the Helldivers episode for Two Whatever's Way Up, which was supposed to be the final episode. Somebody changed the schedule because I haven't watched 2 out of the 3 movies. Can we push it to next Saturday? Who was that?
Me?
Yeah, you. So yeah, this is the last episode of Jaguar Sharks proper.
Well,
So
I'm sorry that have
it's fine.
busy schedule, motherfucker.
It's fine. But yeah, all this stuff we recorded. What's been your favorite thing we recorded in the last like couple of years you've been on the show? I think your first thing was, what was it, Alien 3? I think it was the film rescue of Alien 3. Wasn't that the
Film
first thing?
Rescue was Alien 3.
Oh
Yep,
no,
that was
it was the commentary track for Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
yes, yes, yes,
That's what
yes.
it was. That
That
movie
was my
sucks.
very first thing.
God, that movie
of
sucks.
of like official things, not commentary tracks. It was Alien 3 for Film Rescue.
Which you recorded on your phone and then dumped it into the drive.
Yeah.
Didn't you record on your phone? I think
The commentary I did.
the commentary. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't even I just thought I was doing that for shits and giggles, and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, I'm gonna make this a thing."
Yeah. Yeah. Game of
And
thing
here
was that
now
was.
I'm on my own channel. Look at me
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm all
Look,
grown up.
mom.
I'm
Look,
all
mom. I
grown
did
up.
it. But yeah, like what was the favorite thing we've done in the last 3 years? You started out like 3 years ago with us. What was the favorite thing?
Yeah, I will say I loved the Macon Blair interview we did.
Oh yeah, that's still one of the highest
Um,
rated Simplecast episodes. It's like it's number 3, I think. Yeah.
I will say I also anytime I got to talk about Satoshi Kon, so like when we did Inception and Paprika, I
Oh yeah.
Satoshi Kon has a very special place in my heart. So I always can if I can geek out about him, I'm happy.
It's always a fun guy to talk about. So yeah, I think years ago, when I started this, it was like it's been 6 years since I started doing recording. I want to say
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah, I think one of my favorites was Terminator Salvation, that film rescue, because that was the origin of the Jivenich Kidmington Woodlandolis amalgam human being. The actor that if it appears in all movies, it will create the singularity that destroys the human race.
Yep.
That was the origin of that. That was like 2019, 2020, something like that.
That was
God.
just when I was a listener.
That was a long time ago. Damn. Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. Oh, I love the Chronicles of the Chronicles of Riddick film rescue and also the Warcraft film rescue because I got to yell at Ulrich.
Oh my gosh.
Ulrich, fuck you! God, I still hear his fish tank in the background of my head when I had to fix his audio. God, it's still there. Shut the fuck up. God.
It's over now, dear. It's
It's
over.
over
We're
now. It's
safe.
all
We're
over.
safe now.
We're safe now. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of Split the Difference. God, so many episodes. So
Mhm.
I thought about going back and reposting all the old Split the Difference and Film Rescue episodes to the YouTube channel because like just go through everything because a lot of that stuff is just podcasts, just like Simplecast
Mhm.
stuff. But then I saw how many there were and I was like, fuck it. There's like at least 200 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually added up the amount of time it would take for a person to listen to everything we've recorded in the last 6, 7 years since Montressor Jaguar Sharks Film Rescue started. It would take you over 42 days listening straight through, end to end, to listen to everything.
And half of that was about Superman and Zack Snyder.
Yep. Yep. The trilogy of episodes for that are 10 hours long.
Like I said, half of that is fucking
Yep. It's a lot. It'd take you over 42 days to listen to everything. I was like, yeah, I don't need to repost any of that stuff. You can just go to the old Film Rescue, Split the Difference archives. Just Google it. You'll find them. But yeah, I'm kind of, I'm as much as it is sad to let it go and end it. It's like I'm happy to let it go because I'm just like I don't have time for this shit anymore. I just don't have
go back
time.
to watching for joy now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you listen to that Maureen Ryan interview, I let out a lot of my venom on the film business. You know, because I'm just like, yep, I only went and saw 5 movies in theaters last year.
Mhm.
I was angry because I was like, you know what? Fuck this business. Fuck making movies. This shit sucks. So that's
I'll
why
say
I'm working
I
on a
was
book.
about I was about to say I was
So
about the same. I only saw about 5, I think, as well. So
yeah. And that's why I'm working on a book instead, because that way I can just be left alone to do whatever I want. I don't have to do anything else. But thank you for taking the time for this. I know that your schedule is completely fucked. So,
what are you talking about?
well,
I'm not going insane. It's fine.
you get to go back to bed after this. You're all good.
Yay.
Yep.
Wait, back to? What is back to? get to go to bed.
Back to a.
No, what like I'm saying, like I haven't been to bed yet. I get
Oh,
to go
Jesus.
to.
Oh, that's right. It's Saturday. You got off work early this morning, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go to bed then. Okay. I'll let you go now. So, to everybody that's listening, thank you so much. We apologize that's it's coming to an end, but like all good things, they come to an end. So, you have a whole wealth of things to go back and listen to, folks.
And
Some of it's out of date, but
I was gonna say, and self plug. If you still love me, go to Mind Brain Movies. Love Me and the Ladies on there. We're great. It's great, and we do more of a psychological deep dive. So
yeah. So, as for socials, you can find me on Blue Sky now, because fuck
aren't you
Twitter.
fancy?
Yeah, because fuck Twitter, man. Fuck that asshole. So yeah, Blue Sky, I'm over there. Found an artist to do the cover of my book. Finally, it's gonna be very expensive. Oh my god. But yeah, yeah, over there, Blue Sky. Just find Hardcore B Shot. It's my old Twitter handle. Posted there over in Blue Sky because fuck Facebook and fuck all that shit because it's gonna be a very interesting 4 years. By interesting, I mean hellish. So, but yeah, that's the end of it. So, I guess we'll go now.
Off
So-
into the darkness with Warlock.
Oh, God. I'm going to go grab some dinner now. So, thank you, everybody. We appreciate everything. Good night.
It's been a wild ride.
Good night and good luck.
Gosh.
Gotta say good luck because it's going to be a fun 4 years ahead.
Oy vey.
Good night, everybody. Good night and good luck.